Okay, folks, fake news is a growing problem worldwide, including right here in Canada. Ottawa is taking steps to stop its spread, but a new survey suggests that many Canadians have already been duped by misinformation online. Megan Roberts is here. She's tracking that story. So what is the situation with fake news and Canadians and us falling for it?
Well, this survey says that most Canadians believe that they have fallen for a story that's not true. This was done by Ipsos for Canada Centre for International Governance Innovation. It is an international public poll. They asked more than 25,000 people from 25 different countries, these are internet users, about internet security and trust between December 2018 and February 2019. Let's take a look at the biggest number for Canadians. 90% of Canadians in this survey say they've fallen for fake news online, and the poll defined fake news as wholly or partly false information. And that's an important distinction because that term fake news is used a lot, sometimes by people and politicians, to describe a story that they simply don't like, even if it is true. So this is defining fake news as something that is actually untrue in whole or in part. That number, 90%, slightly higher than the international average of 86%. The poll also found that more Canadians distrust social media companies than they do cyber criminals, according to the poll. Where do Canadians think this is all coming from? Facebook is the biggest culprit, according to Canadians. 68% think that that is where the fake news is coming from. You can see it broken down there, but Facebook, social media, websites, the internet, YouTube. So most of it, Canadians believe, Natasha, is coming from online.
Okay, so this is clearly a problem for companies, but who did the respondents say was accountable for the spread of misinformation?
Yeah, so that was something else that they were asked, and they think that the companies themselves should be responsible for policing their own websites, for removing users or posts that may be false. They think that it's the companies that should be responsible instead of governments stepping in, and also instead of the public stepping in to shame people who may be sharing some of this misinformation. Now, in terms of which country is putting all of this out there, 59% of Canadians actually think that the United States is most responsible for disruption in this country by fake news. People from Turkey and Americans themselves also felt the same way, blaming the United States for this. In fact, 1/3 of all of the respondents of this survey put the blame on the United States, followed by Russia and China, and it's worth saying that the results of this poll are considered accurate to within 3.5 percentage points. So certainly a lot to unpack there, Natasha, but 90% of Canadians in this survey, that really big number, think that they've been duped by fake news. Really something to consider when you're looking at stuff online.
And it's so slick, you know, it's hard to, even fake news websites, you can't tell if they're real or not. I don't know if you had a chance to find this, Megan. I'm going through our .ca article, but did they make a distinction between false news as in it is intentionally untrue or mistakes, right? Because sometimes mistakes, they're falsehoods. So if someone incorrectly quotes someone or they incorrectly have a stat, do they make that distinction or that's not clear at this point?
I didn't see the exact wording of the question, so that's something I can definitely look into for you. They did define it as whole or partly false. They didn't make that distinction in what I could see per se, but something else that I found interesting actually was the number of people that said that television was where they thought that they were getting fake news, which led me to think, like, what TV are they watching?
Yeah.
What are they watching? It's kind of, it's really interesting, this discussion, and it's worth kind of digging a little bit deeper into the language, as you said, that was used in the survey and into what people thought, where they were getting this, where they were seeing this, because it's such a pervasive problem right now.
Oh, that's so disturbing. They think TV is not CBC News Network, folks. Okay, thank you so much, Megan.
You're welcome.